Just more stress, but we're fine. You're over there. Wherever my chair is.
Oh, and hey, Bob.
So it's 20%. There was no water.
Ready anytime.
What was that anyhow? Where do I give that at?
Where's everybody?
We were quite enough. John Block. I know back.
Okay, let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. We're a little late. John, we're gonna go with it. Can you do roll call
Bob Olson,
here?
John Nicholson, Chris Norberg,
Here.
Doug Farster,
Here.
Tom Wilson, Mike Copine,
Here.
Jim Sheeline,
Here.
and Marilyn Schipper.
Here.
He's here. All right, we'll go to visitors. Greg, got anything you want to share with us?
No.
Maybe the grant's ready?
The grant for the $250,000 for the tuck pointing should go out later today. Yes.
Thank you. Rick? Nancy?
It's here for the agenda. Thank you.
All right, moving on, go to the approval of minutes. Did everybody get a chance to look at the minutes or any corrections? If none, they're going to stand as read. We'll go to review of the claims report provided by the Claims Committee. Marilyn?
The process is moving smoother every time. Still running into a couple glitches. If departments have multiple receipts attached to one invoice, it'd sure help us if they could put them in consecutive order. Other than that, it's working wonderful.
Are all the department heads, are they all using it now? I take it, and everybody, I like how it's laid out, by the way, too. When you look at it, you can scroll through it. This is so nice.
Everybody seems to be using it. You know, the department heads have pretty much caught on to everything. Like I said, the consecutive order on receipts would help us.
All right. Oh, sorry. Just thinking about you. Anyhow. Do we don't need to approve that. We'll put that on the full board approval. So that'll be down farther. We go down through there. We don't need to vote today to approve that. We go to reports from committee chairs. Mr. Norberg.
It's in your packet. I have nothing to report.
Any questions for Mr. Norberg? Mr. Sheeling.
So same for finance. The only thing I would point out is we did approve the community service agency applications out of ARPA, and we've cleaned up the non-union starting wage resolutions and the contract, interest contract. So that's all I've got.
All right. Mr. Wilson, properties.
Everything's in the packet. The only thing I report is the architect started on the drawings for the old LEC. We had a bid opening yesterday for the boiler projects, for the new courts building. And then other than that, everything's in the packet. That's all I've got.
What's your timeline on awarding the bid for the boilers?
As soon as the county board tells us we can do it, we will do it. But we have no authorization at the present moment. We're researching the stuff that's in the bid, making sure that everything's there that's supposed to be there. And then it's 14 to 20 weeks to order the boiler. So I would certainly hope we would act on it sooner than later, so we can get this ball rolling. So
And I know the bids come in after your meeting, but did finance talk about it today, and did we is there a recommendation coming out of there who to go with or how are
So
we gonna?
Tom, can I take that? Because I don't think you were here at finance when I admitted that it wasn't on finance's agenda. I dropped the ball. Good news is we can still get it on the county board agenda. It's technically, I don't believe even on your agenda, Bob, because again, I dropped the ball on that. So we'll get it on the full board agenda and that's really the only body right now that can vote on it because it wasn't on agendas. Sorry, Tom.
No, it's-
You should-
Finance
you should
committee
fire
was
me.
Very appreciative that the bid came in $100,000 less than anticipated.
Yes. So, how are we gonna do a recommendation for full county board then?
the recommendation that we've got currently and we'll have by next Thursday would be to go with the low bid of Losher.
Okay,
They're at 209,000, I believe. I can't remember, but they were $92,000 under what we thought it was going to be. But we're just clarifying things right now, making sure the pumps and valves and everything that we requested on the scope of letter work is in their bid. They did not have that listed. But we're going to make sure we get apples for apples on everything. And once they come back, they've been giving us information yesterday. Their cost breakdowns from material to labor, to subcontractors, and all that's come in where we think it's going to be. So Losher would be the people and they're qualified. We just have to make sure to dot the i's and cross the t's, and then we'll have a recommendation for next Thursday.
okay. Would it be prudent for the county to request them? And I don't know the proper term, but like when we just got done doing that grant, we needed it laid out. What do you call that? How they laid out their labor and supplies? Should we be asking when we do projects like this to have them lay that out anyhow for us as a county?
Yeah, you could do that in the scope of letter work. You can also do RFIs for all the projects. And then that way, any RFI that's asked for, they have to quantify that. So we could put those into our scope letters for sure.
And then we got it in file. If we need it, we got it there. And I mean, I think.
We also sent it out, just, so you know, Wendy, I had Becky send it out to all the properties committee, just the properties yesterday, sent the 3 bids with the scope letters and their dollar amounts, just so they can say that they've seen it. So the properties committee, if they look at the onboard, have already seen all 3 bids if they were not here.
Okay. Any questions for Tom? Thanks, Tom.
So you want me, that needs to be added to the county board agenda, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Forster.
I have nothing to add. Everything's in your report. I was absent for Monday's meeting. Marilyn, do you have anything you can report or Casey was running the meeting.
Okay.
He's not
Yep.
here.
I have nothing to add.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Doug. Mr. Copine.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Public Safety met yesterday, March 16th here. The result of the meeting from previous meeting was approved. The minutes were. All the information is there on board. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to try and answer them. The only thing I'd like to point out, there was an issue there with computers from EMA. That particular item has been tabled until next month.
Okay.
Other than that, that's all I have.
Any questions for Mr. Copine? Thank you. Let's move on to old business, the UTV resolution. I was hoping Jack was still here. He must have left.
I think he did leave. He did give an update during public safety.
You want to share that with us?
Sure. Yeah, I can give you a synopsis. So Jack had said that there was a number of townships or municipalities that were struggling with passing it. A couple of them have passed written ordinances to the effect of what the county board is looking at. He also mentioned that there's been some verbal commitments saying that they would like to do it. They're just working through the process of how they're going to do it. I think he mentioned, and I may get this number wrong, but I believe he mentioned there was maybe 7 that had issues with moving forward, and he was still working forward. I think that was the highlight.
Then at this time.
No, not at this time. He said he thought that we're still a little ways off.
All right. I talked to him the other day and I'm like, it's March, it's gonna be April. We got to hold it over. We need to get moving on it, but maybe we make a rush, try to get them in like Harmon Township, or they
Yeah, I think his goal, he stated yesterday, was to try and get, a few more of the ones that are, still have some questions, get them resolved so that we have the maximum number of townships on board, or at least have knowledge that they're not coming on board before we move forward.
Okay, all right. Any other questions or comments? All right, let's move on to.
Sorry, Bob. I'm sorry, Bob. So I'm going to take that off. That's not going to go forward, correct?
Take it off. Go to new business, the MOU with the city of Amboy. This is for the project permitting process down in Amboy. I think we need that on the county board, but I think everybody understands what the MOU we're talking about here with Amoreso. Is it the correct name? It gives me authority to sign the MOU to work with the city of Amboy. And I think the nuts and bolts of it is the county will keep 70% of the permitting fees. That we'll do all the work and then we'll give Amboy 30%. Charlie's got a copy of that MOU if anybody needs it. I don't know if we need that we do need that on the county board agenda, but I don't know if it's going to be in resolution format or how we're going to do that.
I think you can do it by a voice vote, giving you the authorization to sign off on behalf of the county. I don't even think that the MOU, the specific document itself, needs to be something that's approved by the county board, just so long as there's the understanding of what it is the county board's going to be contracting to, or the county rather.
We'll be relying on the minutes to capture it then. Right. Any questions with the MOU? Yes, we do want that on the agenda. Just as it's stated here, MOU with the city of Amboy. Okay. Grant opportunity, multi-use path from Dixon to Sauk Valley College. This is with Dixon. I think everybody was here earlier. Maybe Tom wasn't. Okay, you understand what we're doing. It was passed through finance. I take it. I left before you guys voted on it.
On the grant opportunity.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, that we did pass that, have that county board and coming out contingency.
All right. Definitely want that on the. Any questions or comments on it? Raffle report, we got none. No executive session. So now we move on to county board agenda items. One, call to order, pledge allegiance, of course. Board chair announcements. I want on that, I don't know if I wanted or I will announce that night, but the April meeting, we've got a meet and greet, so to speak, open house at the EOC an hour before the April board meeting over at the new courts building. So I don't know if I want, maybe I'll just announce that. We won't put that on the agenda, but that'll be one of my announcements. Is that how you want to do that?
Oh, I think that's fine under the announcements.
All right. The April meeting. Yeah, but I just want to let everybody know that next month's but we definitely want board chair announcements on there. E, of course, F. Want all of them on there. Burmeister, Z Best. I don't know. I wasn't in their meeting, but them are all current. I'll ask.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Sometimes they're not. So we go down to J. We want Wendy to share her comments. Okay. L. Yep. We want them all. We'll go. What's that? Yes, he answered it. So we're down to old business. Greg, we need that contract ordinance and old business.
Yes.
Oh, it's been held over. Okay, yep. We did that last month. The boardroom audio approval, we need full county board approval for that. Teamsters contract, of course, ratification. Ordinance regarding non-highway vehicles in the county of Lee. Okay, we took that off. Yep. All right, let's go to new business. Vacated and corrected petition. We're still dealing with that mini warehouse.
So there was an ordinance that was passed, I'm sorry, was submitted to the board, held over, and then passed for the mini warehouse storage. The ordinance that was in the packet that was voted upon by the board did not have the correct language in there that actually says what the special use would be. So you have to go back and do that again.
Do we need to hold it over again, or can we,
Unless the board is going to vote to suspend the rules, yes.
but is this holding up somebody's project is where I'm worried about?
Not as far as I know,
Okay,
because the one that it was going to be applying to has withdrawn his petition.
how did you catch that, or who? Tell us.
Correct, yeah.
All right. So we definitely want that on there. ARPA committee funding recommendations. ARPA standard allowance. Community service agency applications. You want that on the? Okay, all right. I can't hear heads nodding. all
Oh,
right?
sorry, sorry.
Don't have that sense, I know.
Pay attention to you,
No,
what's going on.
Nobody is. We're gonna have that on there, our,
Yes, the finance committee passed on the $50,000, roughly $50,000 of those community service organizations.
okay. And the standard allowance. And so let's go down to 3, the revision of a non-union starting wage.
This is.
Definitely want that on there.
That went through finance and is moving on to you.
Okay.
Oh.
Purchasing policy, yes.
That's a layover, but yes, that needs to be on the agenda.
Okay, labor to labor, yep. Resolution compensation for elected officials. Are we ready with that?
No, that's been tabled. You can,
Okay, number 5.
5, 6, and 7 have all 3 been tabled.
Okay, yep. All right.
so yeah, you can take them off.
Resolution in support of Ukraine. With that on there, drug and alcohol policy lots. Is that the federal policy we're going with, Greg, on there? So we want that on there. Banking resolution.
That's a cleanup from Paula, just adding the new staff member to a signature authorization on the bank accounts.
Okay, all right. Of course, the MOU with Amboy, grant opportunity. We do have some appointments, so there they are right there. Yep.
And then, of course, there's the other thing we just talked about, the boiler bid needs to be added, which Nancy took note of. So I'll just
Yep.
make that formally a reminder that put it on.
Okay, and then the other thing that I don't see on here is what Judge Eckert was here talking about. So we need to add that to the county board agenda.
Oh, that's a good catch. Yes, yes. Thank you, Nancy. I would have forgotten about that.
Under new business.
Yes, yes. What else happened in finance that we're forgetting? Anything else today?
I don't think so.
We covered them all. Wendy made that new form and we didn't use it today in finance, did we? Or did anybody use it?
Oh, yeah, a lot of people were using it.
Time.
Okay.
I had to use
I
it.
didn't,
Yeah.
I
I
had
didn't
to
for
use it.
Jackie, so that's what I was like, oh, we probably should have that form filled out.
I used it so many times, I'm sick of it already and I want to revise it and shorten it.
Well, you'd be mad at the author of
Actually,
that.
you know, that form is amazing
Oh.
because at a glance, within a couple 30 seconds, I mean, you can see, you can remind, because you can look at that stuff in the detail, but you look back at that form and it all comes back to you. So
That was my
it's-
goal. I do, from having used it this month by other department heads and myself, I do think it can be shortened because the text area that I gave for them to explain what they're doing and then explain the financial piece of it, I'm finding that people are attaching documents to explain those items. So I'm just going to shorten up the text and make it a 1 page and let people attach additional information if they want to. Yeah, and we are going to, Becky and I are probably going to send out an email that it would be easier for us on the administrative side of things to have the form a separate document from the actual related documents that support the request. But we'll make that request out to the department heads in a written request.
Can you speak in the mic, please? I'm kidding. I was kidding.
More than one laugh you've got on that deal, Beck.
You know, when you don't have a mic, you just improvise. So,
Yeah.
so it is easier for Nancy to pull stuff off if she doesn't have to, or she's unable now, I think, to separate it. So if we get it in two different things, we can pass along the resolution and then you guys would have the.
I like that, though. We should have that
Thank you.
years ago. And that, when the department has a request, they put the thought process through everything and everything's there for them. I think that's it. Any other? I guess I need a motion to approve the agenda.
Nope, I got a question.
Okay.
Charlie, the hydrogen solar project over in Nelson, has that completed the zoning hearing yet? You know,
No, sir. Last night was their last witness, and then they have the finding of facts that are going to start up on Monday.
okay, I just didn't see it on the agenda. I want to make sure that it wasn't supposed to be out there. I knew they were in the process, so thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Need a motion?
I have one more question, sorry.
Yep.
So does Paula's quarterly financial report go to the county board?
Usually they approve that in finance and
And that's it, right? I'm sorry, I'm having a
I'm thinking so.
brain freeze.
Actually, I think we have something on the agenda that's approval of reports. Let me look here.
Amy,
I don't see it either, but.
You know, I don't know. You think we know that, wouldn't you?
I think so.
It is.
So item number L in your executive committee agenda, under the agenda for county board, it does say approval of county officer reports, request for deposit of fund, and orders paid in vacation. But this is a quarterly report, so we actually had something different for a quarterly report, didn't we?
Yeah.
How about we say, for the sake of the executive committee that's in the room, Nancy, Becky, and I will make sure that that's there, all right? Because it does need to be there, Nancy. I'm glad you pointed that out. We'll just make sure we've got the right language in a section for it.
We're rewording so many of those things on your onboard agenda. I just want to make sure we
Yeah,
don't
I-
miss
I-
it. Okay.
We'll follow up.
That was all I had at this time, Bob. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Mr. Sheline, and Mr. Copine seconds it. Any comments or discussion? If none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
I
Opposed, motion carried. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn, I guess. I know, like it. Mr. Forster, Mr. Nicholson seconds it. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.